What's up, everybody? Clint Esposito here, 26 of the Clint Files. This podcast is brought to you by HeroSoapCompany.com. Please visit HeroSoapCompany.com. You can get 20% off. 20% off using the code FreeThinkers with an S. Hero Soap is sourced, made in the United States, chemical, paraben free. You can rub it on your nutsack, your labia, whatever, safely. Is owned by an Air Force veteran, and some of the proceeds go to first responder charities as well as veteran charities, and your first order will be matched and sent to deployed military members. And you can, like I said, get that 20% off. So go to FreeThinkers. Go to HeroSoapCompany.com. Also is brought to you by Cryo Fit Sport. They are compression braces that have a pocket for like a little ice pack deal, so you don't have to hold the ice on. So check them out. You can get 10% off by using the code Esposito10. So check it out. All right, people. You guys know I love motocross. Motocross is coming up, or Supercross is starting. Sorry. And there's talk about Roczen, right? I think that Kenny Roczen is getting... Now, you guys know I'm a Roczen fan, all right? But it's nothing to do with any of this. People are not putting Ken on their list for the championship this year because of the injuries in the past and the health deal, which I totally agree with. And it's still... really questionable whether he's going to be able to put a whole season together because he hasn't been able to so far. But he's done the right things as far as taking the summer off. I think, he had the kid, whatever, but I think that the time away from the bike, not training his ass off, I'm sure helped. But my whole point of all of this, and he could still have the health issue. I mean, all this is going to tie in together. Ego and injury end a lot of people's careers, or at least stop them from achieving even what they could have after the injury. And I say that because a lot of people that are at that level, at a Ken Roczen level, right? He doesn't want to get second, third, fourth, fifth, right? He wants to win. And what a lot of racers do, like let's look at TP back in the day, when he was on 250s. I guess it was a knee injury or something, but he was off the bike for a pretty long time. And then he came back, and first race, he's like running with, I think it was Wyndham or something like that, or Carmichael. And then I think it was Wyndham. And they were battling in a heat race and stuff. And then Travis would end up inevitably. I don't think he did in the heat race. But my point was, it was his first one back. He gets in the mix with those guys. He's like, this is how fast we're going. Which, if you remember TP's career, usually ended up in him crashing. So this is my whole theory with TP's comeback after the last knee injury or whatever, when he was on big bikes. I think that he never calmed himself down enough to take the fifths that it would have required to get back to the physical fitness where you need to be, get acclimated to race pace, and get acclimated to training. A lot of people, when you get hurt, right, say especially let's not even say what Kenny went through. Let's just say any type of injury. You break your leg. All right, so now, even though you can ride in, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe less, if you do cryo and all that stuff, if you got all the money for the cryo, you can be back. Not cryo, hyperbaric chambers. I'm sure cryo helps too, but hyperbaric chambers apparently increase healing like some ridiculous rate. Javier he got hurt and then he went to Chile and went this hyperbaric chamber, and then rode like I don't. It was some ridiculous amount of time. I was like, holy shit! Didn't you just literally get hurt? Um. So anyway, even though you can ride at 4, 6, 8 weeks, whatever it is, your body's still repairing stuff. And they say that basically a year later, whatever your body is at a year later is almost typically what you're going to be at, or at least like an injury, like a break or something. But uh, there's still a lot of other things that are going on besides just a break. If you had a bunch of impact or something like that, then your body's still repairing all the tissue and everything around it, plus trying to mend the bone. So, I mean, I think that we don't realize how much your body actually has to do to fully recover from an injury. Now, let's take an injury like Kenny had, where he had multiple surgeries. Each one of those surgeries, they open your body up, they go and they disturb stuff, and then they seal it back up. Now, all that stuff's got to heal again. Your body sends tons of resources to the area to try and repair it, which means somewhere else you're lacking resources, right? Um, Plus, just the amount of energy and everything else your body is spending on it. It really is a huge stress on you. So now think he did that first one, had like whatever, 12 surgeries, 17 surgeries, something like that. Broke his other arm, had to get surgery on that. So the point is that Kenny then came back and didn't grenade. Well, I mean, the thing with Webb was definitely stupid, but that wasn't like trying to go too fast or trying to run a pace that he wasn't ready to do, a la TP. Um, and and I'm not just putting it on him, but that's just one that I can clearly remember where I was like, it was literally first race back, and he's running with the fastest dudes, and then eventually he gets tired, and then he starts squirreling out because you got to back it down and ride a pace that you can ride at, make it through the race, make it through the series, make it through the year, so that you can build your foundation back up to get back to where you were. So I think that Kenny has a legitimate shot now at like obviously he's fast and he's won races. Now I think he took the time off that he needed to take off to let his body heal the rest of the way, or at least as best as it could, you know. Um, but I think that just pure speed right now, I don't know. Tomac's obviously hard to beat when he's on. Um, but I almost think raw talent and speed, if Ken can ride the races and not have anywhere his body fails him and he, you know, uh, can't push for the second half of the race or just rides around. I think I want to say, he's going to, but he's got a really, really, really good shot. And I just think that people have totally written him off, which I think is silly. Like I said, my whole point of this is that when you get hurt, that's when you realize or have to realize that you are vulnerable. And you have to realize that for a certain period of time, you're going to have to take it a little easier than you would like to rebuild, which I think these guys build themselves up. They get to a level and they expect to ride there, which obviously. And then when something happens where now for them to ride at that level is like a little bit out of you know, their comfort zone, they have a hard time backing it down and accepting that Vince Freezy beat them or whoever it is. So that's why I say that injury plus ego ruins a lot of careers, and that's probably in other sports too. I don't watch them as closely, but I definitely can tell it with dirt bikes. And that's it. I guess it's a short one, 11-minute podcast. But people, don't let your ego get a hold of you. I can tell you the last injury I had, I broke my tib fib, but then I got infection on top of that, and I got drugged down so low that it really was an ego. That's why people sometimes, because I rode and I've done all these things, and they go, "Oh, you're really humble," and I'm like, and this was before the last injury because I've had a ton of injuries, but it's like, man, it's easy to be humble when the thing that makes people think that you're cool has also made you an invalid several times. So, like I get the it's cool and all. I get the finite balance. I don't think whatever. It's cool. I enjoy it. I appreciate people saying that, but at the same time, yeah, it's definitely taught me um, a lot of lessons in humility, and I think that's just what we're talking about. Ego, humility will get you in trouble with a lot of things. So, you know, try to chill. Take it in. You can listen to episode 25 about microdosing, and that'll help too. I think that maybe Ken Roxon is a microdoser. You heard it here first. I'm joking. I don't allegedly. I don't know any of that. I'm just making shit up. So don't take this seriously. But I say Kenny will. I mean, he was in the for the championship last year, so I think he's got a really good attitude. Um, Even when he doesn't do good, this is my point. Over the last couple of years, when he's been down and he's been on the podium or not on the podium, but just getting whatever incrementally better. Even when he was doing poorly, he'd get on the podium and be like, yo, not bad, this and that. Like, never seemed really that upset about it. And if you think about it, and this is not my thought, this is other people's thoughts, he's coming from a position where he may never have raced again, right? So if you're going from you might not be able to race again to getting fifth, you're probably like fifth is pretty fucking sweet, which I think that maybe the severity of again, it takes a lot for the ego death, So like I said, the last one where I got super drugged down, that one really did. I was like, whoa, I'm pretty much like an 80-year-old, person right now, an 85-year-old, like where I'm kind of frail and not able to do all the things I want to do. And like I said, Kenny almost had this taken away from him, so I think he understood that the building process was worth it, and it was going to take time. And getting fifths and whatever is, as much as it sucks, it's a necessary evil. And I think the biggest issue, probably, or not biggest, but a big one with this whole deal as well, is that unless you ride at that level and of output and training and stuff like that, like, so for you to be a weekend warrior and break your leg and then come back and ride, like, okay, it's a little inconvenient, but to try and ride at the level of the best riders in the world, when people are completely healthy, most people can't go that fast. So to expect yourself to just jump straight back into that level and be able to win at that level is a little bit ridiculous with a major injury. Obviously, if it's something small, but even guys with small stuff, thumbs, wrists, like I said, everyone is so fast that if you're down by a couple 5-10%, you're most likely not going to win. So you gotta. Oh, so this is where I was going. The issue, I think, mostly is that people that don't understand it, that haven't raced at that level, that haven't had that type of physical output, um, are the ones that are all over social media saying this guy sucks and he should quit and this and that, when in reality he's a really good rider, like, uh, and just struggling to get back up there. To It's definitely ego, because to get top 10, those dudes would have friggin' been so stoked to get top 10, you know what I mean? Whatever, when they were younger. Um, but it just becomes like they get accustomed to something and then they think that's where they're going to always be. And sometimes you get a rude awakening. But my point is, I think that Ken seems to have um, at least dealt with his ego. He seems to he's obviously, you can't get to that level without having some sort of an ego, but he seems to have put it into perspective. Ego versus I'm really happy to be here, and I think that that's also going to translate into positivity. Him just being happy with everything goes a long way. Just positive mindset and positive vibes. So that's it, people. I think that Kenny's got a real shot at the championship, and just having still a long career. The dude's only like 26 or some shit like that. He's been around forever. But I think that he did it right. He didn't just try and come right back and just blow himself apart. He took it easy. He built, and I think that if hopefully they got the health issue figured out over this little break, and they gave his body enough time to recuperate fully, or at least really close. He seems to be in a good place mentally, so he seems to have dealt with his ego. That's what this is about: ego and injury, and yeah, people. So if hopefully you don't, if you ride dirt bikes, you probably will. If you get hurt, remember, man, you're still healing. Like, let's not try and push it exactly to where we were before. Take it easy. All right? Check out podcast 25. You can hear more about mushrooms and the death of the ego as well. All right, I'm sending you out with the song. It's because it's not the intro song or the intro song. It's just the song that I play. How about that? All right. Thank you, guys. Eventually, I'll play it. I'll turn it up too, so you can hear it.